Hey, everybody. I'm back. I'm not the one you want to see, though. We have the star of the show right down here who has been gracious enough to come back for yet another live stream this week. Nick, I've watched all of them so far, and I've lost count, but thank you so much for agreeing to join us here today for just a little bit. Anytime Nick is taking away from working on helping us with this big problem we all are sharing is precious time. So I certainly want to make the most of it. And joining me also is Chris Cruzy. Thank you for being here, Chris. Much appreciated.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Dude, this is like a white whiskers panel, man.
I know. We're sporting it, aren't we?
I know, right? Yeah, it's like, oh, we just lost like 10 viewers and we only had 9. So hey, yeah, I appreciate you being here, Nick. I have a quick question for you, just because I'm old and I forget stuff. So while it's there, I want to throw it out. So thank you so much for getting the information. I think it was from Greek about the node, right? So I hold 2 full nodes and they're in separate wallets. And the first wallet, I'll call it my first wallet, has my KYC NFT in it. The second one doesn't. Yesterday afternoon, I saw your update. Yep, we can vote. So I went ahead and I voted with my first wallet that has the KYC NFT in it. No problemo. Second wallet, it won't. Yeah, okay. So I was going to ask you, was it the KYC NFT? Okay. There.
Yeah. So first of all, good morning and thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. You said something very important in your opening statement. Anytime that I'm on these streams, etc., is taking away from important work. But the fact is that this is the important work. We are a community in chaos and need healing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think this is very, very important for us to be doing. But yeah, to specifically get back to your question, what we basically did in the export of the contract, that's what Greek suggested, of all the addresses in the KYC contract, and we uploaded those in there. So yeah, so if more people do the KYC, I don't mind doing another export from there, but we are running short on time at this point.
Yeah, and I think you can get from how I was asking the question, no issue. I was able to vote with one of them. That I got nothing. I don't care. I'm happy, and I appreciate you squeezing that into all the other stuff you're squeezing.
Well, I made a commitment. I don't want anyone to feel disenfranchised. So it is an important thing to do.
And I think that's what folks.
I can't say that. I mean, there's some people that maybe not paying attention, in the community and stuff like that. But the majority of them, man, that you have been there for answering questions and collaborating with all kinds of people. So you have gone above and beyond what any of us in the community have expected. So props to you.
And
thank you.
I don't speak your tech language, Nick. I mean, I'm not a programmer. I don't know that stuff. I almost became a CCNA, which is not nearly the same thing, but I was going that direction about 20 years ago, and it just wasn't my thing. But I will say this: my best friend in the world was there with me in Dubai. Bobby was his name. You remember him with the long beard? Yeah, he knew who you were. He was like, I know who. Do you know who that is? I mean, I was just like, no. And he said he'd been following you, I think, for about a decade at that point, because he's been a software engineer for longer than that. So he knew who you were. And I was like, well, when Bobby tells me something, because Bobby knows a lot of stuff, I'm listening. So, I didn't know if I'd ever, we'd be talking again. I didn't think that, things would come to this. None of us did. So, but yeah, he was like, you're the guy. You're the guy. So, your reputation definitely preceded you. And so anyway, yeah. You. And if anybody in the audience, my head's all over the place because I've had COVID this week. I'm almost over it, and I haven't slept for like 27 odd hours now.
Oh my gosh.
I've had COVID. So I was competing just real quick I was competing in my ninja stuff. I competed in a couple of world-class ninja competitions, world championships last week in Orlando. And I ran myself into the ground with Bobby because he's my fellow ninja. And we were up from like 5 a.m. ish, 6 a.m. ish each day for 5 days straight. And we got back to the hotel at like midnight. And then we just did it again day after day after day. And anyway, I just wore myself down. And I think that's what let my defenses down, because 3.5 years in, and I'm vaxxed and everything, I still had got it. And then Tuesday, whammo. So playing catch up, which is why I didn't have my live on Tuesday. So sorry to all of you that were waiting for me to come back. But because Nick's time is precious, I will show my run after Nick. Nick has had to leave us, so we don't waste any of his time. But you can see that. So you want to bring that one, or Chris, go ahead. You want to read that one?
Yeah, we got a message here from Kelly Productions. Says, hey guys, great to see you. And Nick, wow, thanks for being a machine. Hey Nick, a lot of the community is asking the ETA on the UXI presentation. Well, we appreciate you, Nick.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so I've been working on that, and I've distilled down most of the complexity of it down to a couple of slides actually. So I think I'm going to take a different tactic on it. I think I'm just going to post an update in the forums and then follow up on some of these streams and kind of explain it out if need be. But it's really, I've simplified it quite a bit. I think previously it was quite complex, not only from an understanding and business model standpoint, but it was also quite complex to implement. We were like looking at that and scratching our heads, like from an engineering standpoint, like how the heck to do this. So I will post that by midday today. Like it's 9 a.m. for me. Expect in the next 3 hours, I'll post it in the Discord. People can absorb that. I'm still working on the cap table for that, and I'm not positive I'll have that done today. But I don't think that will be earth-shattering news or anything like that. It's basically how many tokens and kind of what the split will be between the treasury and the token holders. That's basically what it's going to be. So so I'll commit to by midday today. I'll have the UXI slides up there in the Discord, and then we can follow up and have more conversations about that.
Thank you, sir. And West Coast represent.
There you go.
It's the only coast. I think you said a few days ago. Nick Hewitt. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
West Coast.
I'm pretty sure East Coast is real time. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just,
We're all in a simulation anyway, so we can choose wherever.
There you go.
True. Yeah.
Nick shuts it all down.
Yeah.
Is it the red pill or the blue pill? I can't remember. Yeah.
I
like this question from Aris. Nick, can you explain the backer and full node incomes to see more clarity potential?
Yep. So it appears, based on the reaction of the spreadsheet I posted the other day, that no one has in fact actually modeled this out previously, because if they had, you would have seen that data. So I'm glad got a chance to do that and help people understand, estimated gas costs for things like transferring funds or calling a smart contract function. So what I laid out there was basically straight up, here's a projected kind of income. Now, there is discussion going on in the full node channel about that. And I went in there and I basically suggested to people, appoint some leaders out of the 500 or so of you and come up with 3 to 4 concepts. The discussion on the income strategy for full nodes and backers is not done. We have to work on it. And there's no way it can be done by tomorrow also. So I'm committing to work on it. So basically the worksheet I have gave you the raw numbers. Here is the gas-based income, because that's really all that is a recurring income in perpetuity. There's also the incentive pool, and people are eligible for that, of course. So now what we have to figure out is what tokenomics we can bring into it that ensures that full nodes, first of all, get an ROI, because it's pointless to, and I understand that sentiment very clearly. Why host a node if you're running a loss? Like, that makes no sense at all, right? So we need to clear the air on that and come up with a solid tokenomics model. And I'm prepared to to do that. But I don't think it's something we need to rush into today or anything. We can have that conversation over the course of next week, get everyone on board, settle it, and then say that that's the one we're going to go with. But yeah, so I think it's a conversation that needs to continue.
Much appreciated, Nick. Yeah, I think it's very clear to the community at large, and definitely to us full node holders, that you definitely have everybody's best interest at heart. You were given a pretty raw deal to step into and try to fix, and this can't be said enough, that you're doing the best with what you have, and you're coming up with creative ideas, and you're accepting a lot of feedback. And I'm really glad that, even though I've not been on the lives this week, I have been watching. I've been watching how you respond to the community's concerns, and I really appreciate the community not just throwing flame balls at you. You know, folks, for the most part, what I've seen has been positive, constructive, suggestions, at least, unless I've missed something. So I really appreciate how that's been.
As long as we are talking, we are being productive. We can move things forward. If we are just hurling insults at each other, it doesn't solve any problems at all. So
no,
let's be productive and use our time wisely. So yes,
absolutely. Biz Entertainment says, Nick, with the vested NFTs, can they be moved, as some had sacrificed from a hot wallet and or wallet compromised and would like to move for security and collect rebases to a cold wallet?
Yeah. So compromised wallets is an interesting story, because we have really no way to prove, the authenticity of anyone's claim. Anyone can come and make that claim. So that's a huge challenge. We'll have to figure out. I don't have a solution for that sitting here right now. As far as sort of rebases, etc., it's important to understand that in crypto, your wallet holds nothing. Your wallet is basically a list of your private keys, and it's a tool to sign a transaction. Your account resides on the blockchain. So your rebases, etc., are always happening on your account. It doesn't matter how you're looking at it. Your wallet is just a way to look at the account, really. Your account exists in perpetuity on the blockchain, regardless of whether you use one wallet or 10 wallets to look at the same account. So hot, cold wallet doesn't matter. Your rebases are going to be there for you. The only question is, does your wallet software refresh, or is there a way for you to manually refresh? That's really it. But it doesn't matter how you look at it. And it's important to think of a wallet as a lens into your account. It's not the place where your tokens are stored. Your tokens are only ever on the blockchain.
Thanks for the sub.
Right on. And I'll throw this out. I meant to do it earlier. This is the last 24, actually less than 24, 21 hours? Just not even 21, 23 and 3/4 hours left until the vote is done. So you have until 5:59 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, if I'm remembering. Yep. So by this time tomorrow, the vote is done. You could vote yes or you could vote no. And the vote is again to accept Nick's proposal and to have Nick lead us moving forward and help us save this project, this blockchain. And I'll just tell you how I voted. I voted yes. I voted yes twice, because I want there to be at least a chance for us to try to, at some point, break even and maybe make a little bit of money. I'm in this for myself, my wife, my kids, my granddaughters, and the smiles that they bring me every time I see them. And, a little extra scratch at the end of the day to go into my retirement account is not a bad thing. I mean, it's either that, or if I voted no, then I'm voting. That's definitely not going to happen, because as Nick has already pointed out, if we vote no as a majority, and that's what it ends up being, I mean, the blockchain will launch, but there's very little chance it'll succeed the way that it was originally set. So unless I'm missing something. So I'm just putting my thing out there. I don't know. Nobody else needs to say how they did in the comments or whatever. That's fine. But I just thought I'd tell you that's where I'm coming from and why. So we have AA says, Nick, Gas fees have been a topic of discussion in the phone node chat. Definitely. All feel it should be raised to at least 30 cents. Please, can you revise the numbers? Still dirt cheap and gives nodes sufficient returns.
Yep.
I mean,
so let's understand how gas fees work. It's important. Gas fees are not a single number. The way gas fees are calculated in the protocol are based upon the, let's call it, service that is expected. So if you are going to transfer funds, it requires a certain set of operations to occur. You add them all up, and that's your gas fee. If you're calling a smart contract function, how the complexity of that smart contract function is, your gas fees will vary based upon that, and they'll be a lot more if you're ever storing information. So if you ever save anything to blockchain storage, the cost is always more. Now, there's one other factor in the gas fees. As the network gets busier, during busy times, the gas fees go up. That's designed to lower the requirements. So people say, okay, I'll wait until later, when gas fees come down. You've seen that on Ethereum, etc. Right? So what we can do is there's a base number that we put in, which is the unit price, right? So we could potentially increase that. But one of the things we also have to be cognizant of is we are a new EVM-based chain coming up in a highly competitive ecosystem of EVM chains. We are not the only game in town. So one of the key factors that drive people to a certain protocol are what utility it provides, what is unique and interesting about it, what's the community like, and also is it an affordable chain? So we have to think about that and balance it. So I'm committing to essentially reviewing the gas fee. I already started that conversation with the engineers. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna do a competitive analysis and make sure that we don't come out. We can't just say that it's cheap from a perspective of only our protocol. We have to look at it from a market protocol and make sure that we are continuing to remain competitive. Again, let's go back to first principles. I always like to think in first principles. The reason that question arises is because full node owners feel like they don't have the right income. Can we orchestrate that in a different way without impacting the end users of the chain? I feel we can. I think we have enough levers here to do that. And that's what I want to work with the full node community, with the validator community, to figure out what levers we are going to change in order to get to that sort of level that we need. Now, keep in mind that my spreadsheet that I presented gave a fairly conservative outlook based upon the transaction numbers needed in order to hit the rebase thresholds. When you're modeling like that, you have to throw out assumptions, and that spreadsheet is a whole lot of assumptions. That's why I put in bold red letters that this is just a bunch of assumptions. Now, imagine a scenario where we're doing really well and we blow those transaction numbers out of the water. If you look at the 5-year projections, we are looking at 500,000 transactions a day. That is current Avalanche levels. Ethereum levels currently are at 1 million transactions per day. So we could do higher than that. It's entirely possible. It depends on the applications in use. So one way to think about it is to raise the gas costs. But another way to think about it is, how can we as a community focus and get all the great apps that are out there and compel them or incentivize them to come onto our chain so they bring all that user traffic with us? I think if we can increase the usage of it, that's a cleaner, simpler, and really beneficial to the entire ecosystem. Because guess what? When that's happening, it also impacts the price of the coin, because people see value being generated, right? So there's a lot of things here in this. We got to put them into this blender and turn that button on and see what comes out. So I'm not saying gas prices are off the table. I'm saying let's be a little judicious about that and be smart about the decision we make. So again, I repeat, the conversation is not closed. We have levers. We will, over the course of the next week, figure out what is a fair way to make sure that the validators get the income they deserve.
Thank you, sir. Razmataz has a question. He says, "Hey Nick, once we receive our NFT with our holdings in it, can we transfer it to another wallet, ergo hard wallet, and our rebases, etc., would go there as well?"
Yeah, that's kind of the approach I'm thinking, because see, right now, all we have is the address with which you sacrificed or which you bought the node, etc. Right? And that's a sacred address because we don't want to keep asking you, hey, what's the address we should use at Genesis to drop your tokens into, right? So once Genesis happens, you do whatever you want to. You can move your NFTs anywhere you want. You can move your tokens anywhere you want. The vested ones, the unvested ones are actually held in the contract, the smart contract for the vesting, and your NFT indicates at any given time what your vesting schedule is, how many are vested, how many are not vested, etc. But yeah, you once we finish Genesis, like blockchain goes on, you can move things around.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Quixol? Hope
Yeah.
I said that right. Keeksol? Maybe it's Keeksol. It says, Nick, could you expand the reason for choosing the fees for those coin and smart contracts? They seem quite low versus Binance fees, for example. Thank you.
Yep. I think if memory serves me right, Binance went through a sort of reassessment of their fees and raised them at some point. So the fees that we have right now are really just the default ones that come with Go Ethereum. And this is why I'm saying there is room for us to change those. And I would much prefer that we look at a table that says, okay, here's what Avalanche is, here's what Polygon is, here's what Binance is, etc. And then see where we stand within that, and then make an educated decision. So I'm committing to getting that research done and presenting that, so we can make a smart decision. So we can increase if that's the case.
Right on. And it looks like we've got quite a few viewers, more than my average, and I appreciate everyone who is here up to this point. I do have the ability to accept super chats. I'm not asking you for money. However, if for some reason you want to make sure your question is read, you can throw a $1, $2 super chat on there if you want, and that will get priority over anything else. That doesn't mean we're not going to try to get to all the questions, but next time is limited. So just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. Sparky says, you responded to on-site in Discord that the full node fees do not include the buys and sells. Can you clarify, please?
Sure. So I think it probably comes from a point of nomenclature. Once Genesis happens, there are only transfers. There is no buy or sell. There's all 50 million tokens are sitting in some account. They're either in a contract, or in one of your accounts. So when we talk about buying or selling, that term really has no sort of actual contextual relevance in that scenario. All you're talking about is moving tokens from one wallet to another, and that is a fixed gas cost of 0.00021 coins. So I'm happy to take a follow-up question on that, but there is, if a buy or sell or transfer occurs, it's always the same from the blockchain perspective. You have tokens moving from wallet A to wallet B. It's immaterial why they moved from wallet A to wallet B. The fee will always be the same because that's how the technology works.
All right. Thank you, sir. Ante, hopefully I said that right. When can we see rebrand? All the best, Nick.
Give it till next week. We're still working on it. So yeah.
There's been a ridiculous amount of really good suggestions for the rebrand. Yes. I can't come up. I'm not creative in that way. All I could come up with was Phoenix, and by the time I put it in there, I think 25 people had already come. Oh, how about Phoenix? Yeah, there's some really good ones though. I'm excited to see what we.
I'll just tell you my thought process on that. I think it's easy to come up with good names. The challenge in the times we live in now is to go look at what the domain status is on that, on the name acquisition is, because that's one thing. The other thing which a lot of people don't do, which I care about, is to go to the USPTO website and go to something called TESS, which is their patent and trademark search. Put in that and see who has that, because what you don't want to do is to use a word mark that out of the gate someone is immediately going to challenge, and then you're going to have to change. So most people don't do the search on TESS, which is on the USPTO website, and that is a really important thing, because yeah, you don't want to infringe on someone else's intellectual property.
Yeah, I hear you on that. We have a super chat, and where did it go? Where did it go? It was from OBZ. There we go. Here, I got it. And thank you, Nick, for that. OBZ, thank you so much for your donation. Much appreciated. OBZ says, thanks for coming on daily, Nick. Absolutely. We all very much appreciate your tireless work. I put in the very because I think that's what he was. Yeah, we do. We do. And I know you keep hearing this, and I know it's probably you're numb to hearing it, but yeah, we do appreciate everything you're doing for us. So, and thank you, OBZ, much appreciated for that as well.
Thank you. At the end of the day, I'm in your service. Hopefully, I'm elected, yes, but I'm in your service. You know, without this community, you know, I have nothing. So, yeah.
I think RJVA said it best. If you vote no, we're going to blacklist your wallet. Funny. Rich Hedman says, everything needs to play out. And if things come up about Jason, then things will be taken care of. Well, not sure how to.
Well, a lot of people in the chats, and something happened to the chats in Melon that they duplicated. So I started getting to the chats that came up earlier, but I had
yeah, it scrolls back up. Another reason why I'm going back to StreamYard. That's driving me nuts. So,
but it actually duplicated, because I went all the way to the top. They're there, and then halfway down, they're all there again. So I was like, oh no. But a lot of people were discussing about the co-founders and that information, and this was one of the comments that came up. Nick, I don't know if you people have talked about this, but do you have any comment that you want to make about, you know, Jason and Adrian and the rest of the team at this particular moment?
Look, the folks I'm working with right now and collaborating, I find to be people that are great to work with. I don't see any issues with that, so I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, I'm working with them, which means I trust them.
Yeah, I that's what I get from you. You've been very clear multiple times. You're putting your reputation on the line. You're not going to do it with people that you don't trust. And I know you said that in an earlier AMA earlier this week as well. So, but thank you for answering that again. Actually, I'm going to pull up the super chat from Master Baron real quick. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you, Master Baron. Always appreciate you being out there, my friend. And thank you so much for your super chat. Master Baron says, hello, Odie, Chris, and Nick. Good to see you. Nick has been on a marathon of AMAs that shows a real leadership in regards to full node conversations. Where will it take? In regards to the full node conversation, where will it take place?
Yeah, so it's starting off in the Discord channel in the full node there, and I think we'll gravitate towards having a Discord town hall where we can talk about it more. So I think that or a Twitter space. I think I prefer a Twitter space. It's just more manageable. But yeah, we can do it in Discord also. So I'll leave it to the community to decide that.
Darwin great. The turtle. He says I skipped his chat.
Oh, did we?
His comment. I apologize. I got mixed up with the chat in here, and if I missed it, I can't find it. If you want to maybe put it back in there. I thought I brought it up, but then when I did, it went away, and that's when the chat on my side duplicated.
Let me see if I can find it. I see a third one from him. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on any questions. I mean,
there's a lot, but I think I'm. There we go. Yeah, you did bring this one up earlier. Yeah. So Darwin's asking, is Nick going to do anything for the light nodes?
Yeah, I view the solution that we come up with for validators and backers, which is the full nodes and light nodes, to be one comprehensive solution. So we got to figure it out there. I understand there is some pushback in terms of sort of the light nodes getting a piece of the gas fees. But again, we have multiple levers. We'll figure out where this lands based upon a fair sort of analysis of the situation and figuring out what's going to appease everybody. We can't have everything. Everyone's going to leave slightly dissatisfied. When that happens, I know we've got a good solution. Slightly dissatisfied. So,
yeah, I think that's. I mean, we have to learn to give. To get something. I'd rather give something to get something than to give nothing and get nothing. So, yeah, I can live with some compromise. And I think this is kind of a follow-up that he also had. I don't know if you had seen this when you were looking, Chris, but he follows with. Can you please ask if Nick's going to change the light node? I think that was before this one. Getting $18 per year makes no sense, but you've already addressed that. So
yeah, another way to think about this also is if we all focus on getting the coin price high, very, very high, all of this becomes moot. So we focus as an ecosystem on creating huge amounts of value. And then, these numbers will seem trivial in comparison if you really focus on getting that coin to become really valuable. But again, I am committed to having a comprehensive solution in place within the span of next week.
Thank you very much. And we'll follow with this one, and then we have another super chat. Darwin also asked, wants to know what he's going to do when Jason deletes the Discord.
I'm sorry, I don't have time to answer juvenile questions. Can we move on?
Here's one from OBZ. It's RJVA. You're better than I am, Chris. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to the super chat.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, RJ. Much appreciate that. Nick, the community may have been through hell and back, but resilience is only proven through challenges. So thank you for taking the lead in launching this blockchain. Absolutely.
Appreciate it. I mean, I feel like after sort of coming into the sort of leadership role through this, I don't know what more I could be tested with, in the future. It's going to be like business challenges, like piece of cake compared to this. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, once the blockchain's successful at the 1 year mark, let's all go skydiving, baby.
Okay. We can, I'll have to get, so my wife and kids have expressly forbidden me from doing skydiving. So there are certain things they said no, because I like to do crazy things. I love that. Yeah. And that's one thing they've banned. They're like, thou shalt not put thy life at risk. So.
Yeah, I gotcha. My wife gave up on.
Nick, there's nothing wrong with jumping on a perfectly good plane. I mean, what would make you think that? I think it's crazy.
They have the simulated one here.
Oh, yeah.
I was to go do that.
Okay. The where you're in that that would be fun.
We got one right down the road from us. Yeah. Well, it's not really right. It's about 20 miles.
I got one like just south of Seattle by a couple minutes from where I live. But it's like $300 and you really only get 5 minutes. So
what's more fun? Or I don't know if it's more fun. But zip lining. Zip lining is cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I've only done it in Vegas, but I'd like to do it like in the jungles of Costa Rica. I have coworkers that have done it places like that. And
I did it in Mexico. Awesome. I did it in Dubai. It was fun.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Okay, we're on. 1 year.
Yeah, I used to jump out of planes. Well, I used to be forced out of planes when I was in the military. I don't think I'm going back to do that anymore.
Dude, when I was in the Army, that's the one thing I didn't want to do because I could. You know what my stipulation was? I wanted to be able to I didn't want to be in a static line, and I wanted to be able to steer the chute. And so at 400 feet odd off the ground and then just getting shoved out of a plane with the pack and everything, I met up with folks when I went to my AIT, and they were like, yeah, it was nothing like they said it was going to be. I'm like, well, yeah, it's the military, bro.
They say go, you all go.
Yeah, you all go. Yeah, so never mind. Anyway, Bruce Lee says, can you tell us how many projects will be in the blockchain at launch?
Yep. So when we get past all the release candidates, when we are at the final mainnet, my target is to have 10 applications there, all substantial sort of with thousands of users type of applications. That's my target. We've already identified four of them, and we are going through the projects. We'll actually get into sort of talking to the teams, etc., starting next week. Go through them, figure out what assistance is needed, what resources are needed, and work with them, almost like an incubator, and provide them the mentorship and resources they need to get them in. But my target is a minimum of 10. But also, as part of this ecosystem growth thing, my goal is to work with partners, companies that are already in operation on Ethereum and Polygon, etc., and figure out what it's going to take to get them here onto our protocol. So there might be more, but in terms of grassroots projects, greenfield ones that are sprouting here, my goal is to have 10.
That sounds like a nice starting point. Now, if I remember correctly, I think I heard you answer something along this lines earlier this week in one of the other lives you were on, that you were revisiting the original, or the ones that had the projects that had been listed on the website. And I know that kind of lends itself to what you were just saying. Are you able to comment on that progress at this point? Or
yeah. So people need to remember that this is the time of strategy right now. I haven't even been given a yes vote yet. All these things we are talking about are tactical items. They come into play a little later. First, we got to get the strategy right, the direction right. If you don't know where you're going, then as the Cheshire Cat said in Alice in Wonderland, like, what does it matter, right? So we have to figure out where we want to go first, and that's all I'm focused on this week. At the high level, we're talking about skydiving, so we are at maybe 10,000, 20,000 feet right now. We'll come down to 5,000 and 1,000 feet, but I have no answers for those kind of questions right now because they're all tactical items.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Hamsternut says, Nick, are you in talks with Bob, or have you talked to him since the last AMA? Sounds like we would have a dream team with you both.
Yep. So far, I've unblocked Bob on the Vulcan Discord, so he's in there. But again, that's a tactical thing. We'll start that conversation, etc. But I can't do all of it at once right now. So, but yeah, I intend to follow up and converse with him. Yes.
Yeah. And I think it would be safe to say we're all Generation X, the MTV generation, as they used to say, rock the vote. A quick reminder. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, we do have a very, very important vote that is pending. If you have not made your voice heard and you are a Vulcan holder right now, you have the chance to make it heard. Please make sure to go to vote.vulcanblockchain.com, vote.vulcanblockchain.com, and make your vote heard. The vote is to proceed and officially have Nick as the team is the official title team. I can't remember what it is.
Team lead.
Team lead.
Yeah, I don't need a glorified title or anything like that. It's basically simple, leading the core team right now. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. And effectively, and he has a plan. If you haven't looked at the plan, I'm sure Biz can put up the link when he gets a second. But Nick has a very well thought out, very detailed strategic plan to try and save this project, this blockchain, and push us forward to not only eventually a mainnet launch. In the short term, it's RC1. We hit some milestones. We hit to RC2. And then I believe it's mainnet is the third and more or less final.
One more RC3, RC3, and then mainnet. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then mainnet, which it was a couple weeks between each, if I remember right.
Yeah.
If we hit the milestones.
It's important for people to know. I think I saw some comments that's testnet. No, that's actual mainnet. So it's just the release candidate is a software term, which those of you in software would know. It indicates a confidence level that the software is almost ready, or maybe it's got a certain level of defects that we are still not sure of. That's what it means. In our case, very specifically, it also means pending the audit. I won't take off a release candidate suffix until we've got a clean audit report and have fixed any issues that they report, and then that's mainnet. So by the way, this is business as usual. If you go look at all other protocols, that's kind of what they do. They go through this journey of multiple phases of testnet, and then mainnet release candidates, and then eventually, here we go, production mainnet.
Right on. Della1 says, Nick, any more thoughts on a cap on individual wallet booster purchases?
Yeah, so I've heard this, and I've committed to doing the math on it. I have a little bit of time to get that done before we sort of launch the booster program. So it is on my to-do, but certainly willing to do the math on it and make sure that people don't take advantage of it and exploit.
Right on.
This is a question for me real quick while I get the other ones.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't a paratrooper in the Army. I was in the Air Force, and at Herbert Field, we had training exercises. So it was about 10 of them while I was there where they just throw you out.
And I remember Rich is a veteran as well. I can't remember which branch. I'm sorry, Rich. I think
Air Force. He was stationed. Yeah, he was. I don't think he is now. I remember, but he was stationed at Herbert Field. Well, I was years before him, but he was more recent.
Chris, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
We have OBZ, and then we have a super chat. OBZ says, if you don't know where you're going, you won't know where you've been. There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was important to bring up.
Deep.
Legendary Bastard with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's fun saying his name, right? He says, Nick, settle this now. Yes, this needs to be settled now. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Think and answer carefully, as your answer
be
will
careful,
decide
Nick.
the success of.
Okay. So here's the deal. All right. You get me in my entirety, not just parts of me. So I'll tell you what. I love Dave's Insanity Sauce, the extremely hot version of it. So
wow.
Pineapple on pizza with jalapenos plus Dave's Insanity Sauce.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
That's a 5 alarm fire.
Okay. All right.
So I'm sort of redeeming a little bit.
And OBZ, did you see OBZ's pineapple pizza that he made?
No.
I'm telling you, it's good. It's good stuff. So I have not had it yet, but you guys are making me think it is. But my first thought was no pineapple on pizza.
All right. So here's the thing.
What's wrong with you?
I am vegetarian, so I have to find the right options, and that's a good option. Like the pineapple sweetness and the jalapenos, extra jalapenos, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good combination. So I'm sorry if we can have an AMA about that and debate that, but yeah.
Thank you again for the super chat. Much appreciated. Oh,
and you can't go and change your vote to no. So.
Bruce Lee says, Nick, I was a naysayer, but you've really won me over. It's so good to have someone that talks business and tech speak rather than just colored emojis with a stupid face picture.
Thank you, Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, I was at the Indiana Jones movie like last week or something like that, and I saw a preview. They are bringing Enter the Dragon into the theater in a week or two. I am so excited to go see a Bruce Lee movie, big screen, because I'm a Bruce Lee fan. So, yeah.
Same. I drive past his gravesite on a regular basis here in Seattle. Yeah, and every time I'm on Google Maps, if I have to check something, it's like, yes, the man. I remember seeing him and being so taken. Just amazing guy. Darwin asks, Nick, once you're in your position, is Jason going to be receiving a salary? If so, what exactly does he do? What exactly does he do that deserves a salary?
Right. So what my plan is to do is all the people that are going to come on board here. There's some new people I'm trying to recruit. Everyone will be on. You will meet all of them. For everyone, we're going to have their job description, their roles and responsibilities, and their compensation available for everyone to look at. So there's no need to single out any individual person. Everyone is is subject to the same treatment. So we'll publish that information.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And again, thank you so much for your transparency, your ongoing transparency, which is obviously one of the hallmarks of why people really are trusting you, and how we're appreciative of all the hard work you're putting in.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can ask that Nick isn't going to answer fully and, very candidly, just as he's doing with us. And we certainly appreciate that. I know we're within 15 minutes or less of when I know you said you had to go. So I'm bringing that up for the audience. We're doing our best to get to these questions. And if you want to make sure before Nick has to go, just make sure you put it in a super chat, but we'll try to see to get to as many as we can. AA says, at Chris and Odonato, I forgot when the booster sales are. Can you ask Nick, once he is voted in, shouldn't we have the booster sale right away? Therefore, we have funds before September launch date.
I would like nothing more to do that, but let me tell you my constraints. The first constraint is I don't want to have a booster sale without a mainnet active, because that is the single most important confidence signal I can give the community. So that's important. If you're doing it on Binance or something like that, what have we changed? Nothing. We have made no progress, and we have to go on. Here's my deck, and here's my promise. I don't want that. I want to have a working mainnet on which that launches. That's the first thing. Second, need time for legal counsel. I'm not going to take any measure that involves selling crypto assets without clarifying exactly what that entails, because I value my freedom considerably, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too. So legal opinion is important. Third, need an entity. I'm not going to do that without the protection of liability protection of an entity. So these are just basic fundamental business things. There's like any new leader in any position will tell you you can't sell crypto without covering the bases on all these fronts. So those take time. So we'll have to wait. I know it would be super easy. Like right now, it's exciting and all that. We could probably get more sales, but that's foolish. We don't want to do that.
I like your approach actually on that. And just to clarify for those that maybe aren't quite up to date on the booster sales, you don't have to. It's optional. It is optional. This isn't a money grab. We're low on liquidity because of some bad things that happened. And the booster sales is one way to be able to raise some liquidity. So it's optional, though. This isn't something you don't have to do. And so anyway, thank you.
Thanks for emphasizing that. I really always want people to think twice, thrice, etc. Because look, if the community cannot support the liquidity, it just means I have to have a backup plan, which I do. I have to get more outside boosters into the ecosystem, which we'll do. We have to do what we have to do. So please don't feel any pressure to buy the booster unless you have the financial ability to do it and you want to.
Well, I have a short statement here, as this community has been through quite a bit. But I'm telling you right now, we are not going to be moving forward on the pineapple on pizza thing. We are completely divided. The comments are like, no, yes, no. Like, I don't think we'll ever get consensus. So eventually we're going to have to maybe just come together and talk this out.
Yes, I'm happy to it's a good point of debate. And I'm telling you that Dave's Insanity Sauce, 230,000 Scoville units.
Oh.
Doesn't matter if you've got pineapple or pepperoni. It's toxic hot. Wow. So
there's you had actually, yeah. So Steve Rodriguez was I fully agree. Pineapple with jalapenos.
Yay!
You got some fans out there, Nick. I'm not. You're gonna have to convince me. I'm not. But we'll work on that in the future.
A few chuckles amongst us isn't a bad thing. We have had a lot of bad hardship stuff going on, so a few smiles definitely is nice to see.
I think I didn't. I brought this up and then I went away. So I think that's a valid one.
Yeah. So if you have any questions for Nick, we still have roughly 10 minutes, give or take, whenever Nick has to go. It's going to be close to that, and we certainly appreciate his time. Yeah, I will say that I'm blown away by how quickly you've implemented things right now in your quote unquote interim position, because we're pending the result of the vote tomorrow. And I'm blown away by how hard I mean, you say you're going to do this, you say you're going to do this and that, and you're doing that and a whole lot more that we're not even asking, or, and so, yeah, it's truly amazing to me. And, I love your accountability. It's just beyond rock solid. So, and I like the fact that you balance family with how much you're doing, like you said last week, and you're still just going at this. So, Twig says, "Hey Nick, thank you Nick for everything, but please don't bend for so many demands, just for the sake of it. Even from these YouTubers, be firm and thanks."
Yeah, I appreciate that. In my definition of a good leader is one who listens to everybody, then takes all those opinions and formulates a strategy based upon their own insight and their own experience. So when I'm listening to people and asking more questions, etc., it doesn't mean I'm basically willing to flip flop on any issue or something like that. What I'm doing is making sure I'm doing the one thing that is the most important job I have. Listen. I need to listen, because as long as I'm listening, I can understand what people want. And like I said, the decision that is made may not make everyone happy, but it's important that people feel A, they've been listened to, and B, it's fair. It's not just a random, like, oh, I feel like it, so I'm going to do it. It's based upon facts, data, and the long-term consequences of decisions. Frequently when we ask for something, we don't think about the long-term consequences of things and the impact on other areas, because we don't have that visibility, right? We're looking at our own area. I have to look at the bigger picture and make a decision based upon that. So I am never going to go on a stream like this and say, oh yeah, so you said that, so I'm going to do it, I'm going to change my opinion. I'm always going to tell you that, thank you for that opinion, I will take that into consideration, and then include that input into my decision. So that's really all that is.
Thank you. And Razmataz asks, will boosters still be available to purchase end of September?
Well, it depends on how quickly they sell out. So I'm optimistic that we'll sell out quickly.
And C. Rodriguez says, Nick, is there still going to be an AMA about UXI?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm going to post the slides there in the Discord today. And after that, if there is an AMA necessary, I'll be happy to do that. But I doubt there will be one necessary today. If people feel strongly about it, I'm happy to come and qualify everything. But I've created the slides to be really simple and easy to understand.
Thank
I
you,
know
sir.
that you talked about this a few times, but I don't know if you want to revisit this question and go through it anymore.
Are you able to read that okay, Nick? Or do you want
Yeah, I read it and I understand
Okay.
it. So you have to also take all the facts into account, right? Like when people use terms like their watch, etc., you have to look at what actually transpired. For example, there was an intent to create a company, but the actual physical actions that need to occur to make that happen never happened. Brian never gave up control of the funds. He never signed the document to actually execute a company, etc. So again, these are things that we have to talk to legal counsel and figure out. But obviously, I'm aware of what the situation is, but I'm also aware of what the constraints were, and so I am unwilling to go by anything other than facts. Facts are great because they're the truth. So you go by that and not by conjecture.
Right on. And that question I asked before you started was just because my color that I have on the screen that's sometimes hard to read because it's see-through. So, yeah. OBC says, will we be buying booster NFTs with stable coins?
I think we'll put up the page there and let you buy it with various crypto. So I think stablecoin should be part of that.
Thank you. And we have a super chat from Invest in Yourself. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Invest in Yourself, aka Sparky, says, Nick, when can full node holders see their sacrifice tokens on Sacrifice Checker?
Yeah, so last night when I got that list from the contract, I just asked to be put it on the voting list. I'll ask the sacrifice checker also to be updated, but that requires us to also get the actual data on their tokens, which I believe are identical for everyone. So it should be fairly straightforward. So I will commit to getting that done by Monday. So we'll get that done.
Thank you. I had actually thought about that too, but I figured that was in the works. So thank you so much. And thank you, Sparky, for that super chat. Much appreciated. Is it Florida's finest? Fluffinest?
I think that's what it means.
I think that's what it means. I hope
Florida
I got it right.
finest mall.
Yeah. It says, hello, Nick. With the given financial constraints, what does our marketing strategy look like to invite new investors for mainnet launch? Thank you.
Yeah. I'm presuming they are talking about boosters. You're absolutely right. We don't have a lot of capital. So our best strategy is to get some kick-ass applications out there at launch and draw people in for that. So, we have a few of those lined up. I think, like I was saying, if we launch with about 10 of them, and even 2 of them take off, we could get sizable attention. I'm hoping all of them take off, but it doesn't always work that way. So we can get some organic attention, organic PR, and based upon that, draw attention, because we don't necessarily need, institutional investors. We just need people to buy a booster for $150. So the more people that do that, the more diversity we have and the larger pool of supporters of the protocol we have.
Up. You see this comment down here. You're going to have to.
It's not going away. I was going to mention it earlier too. It's like, oh my gosh. Yep.
I am happy if the biggest problem people have with me is that I enjoy pineapple and jalapeno pizzas. Then
Nick, you have a big following of pineapple people in our community. I think the non-pineapple people's the minority here. We don't. I mean, but I do think. I mean, I'm not sure about Daniel, but I think that I am open to it. But I'm scared of it. I'm just going to admit that I'm scared of pineapple on pizza. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Pineapple's good on everything.
I'm trying to find another question. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, if you have a question, put it in there super quick, because Nick has to get going here pretty shortly. And unless that's changed, but I think you said you had a meeting. So
I do need to head to some other meetings, but I can stick around for 5 minutes more.
I did see one, and I think I just skipped past it.
Oh. Was it the one from Kelly Productions, or did you not get that far?
I didn't get the name. I just started reading it, and I went to click on it, and the whole screen went all the way to the top. I don't know what that's.
Also,
I'll read.
Oh, sorry.
What's that? Oh, no, go ahead, sir, please.
I was also going to say that you haven't tasted good pizza until you've had Indian pizza with pineapple plus tandoori paneer or tandoori chicken. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't know about the chicken, but the tandoori paneer on it. So that's heaven in your mouth. It's amazing.
Is that something that is common like throughout the country, or is that a particular state, region, or something that is specifically from? Or
it's Indian entrepreneurs here in the US who are like, well, let's do a fusion, of pizza and Indian food. And so I live in the San Francisco Bay Area here, and there's like a huge South Asian population here. And so there's lots of great restaurants, etc. And so Indian pizza is pretty easy to find here. But if you have a chance,
very cool,
you should try that out.
That sounds pretty awesome. I'm in the Seattle area. We have a Asian also, as you probably know, but very little East Indian. However, I personally work with a ton of East Indians that are from the Punjab province.
Okay. North India.
So I'll have to ask them. They'll probably go, well, yeah, where have you been? All right. Any last minute questions that we're missing here for Nick because he has to really get going? Did we miss any? I don't think so. Yeah. Well, I know your time is very precious. Really want to thank you so much for you. Oh, you're gonna put Chris.
I'm
Go
just
ahead, bring it
saying,
up.
this is what
Listen.
OBZ created. There's pineapple on that pizza, and I mean that I could eat that. I'm just saying. OBZ
So
did that one night. He showed
Wow,
vegan
I've
meat?
never seen a pizza like that, but that looks interesting. I'd love to try it out.
he made it. He showed it before it went to the oven and how he did it, and with the pineapple was sliced pretty thin and everything. So I know we're off track, but I just thought that was important that there is, I guess, a way it can be done.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and I will take a couple of minutes. My video is 4 minutes long, and don't feel like you have to stay, Nick. I'm going to show my ninja run from last weekend. It was actually one of the best ones I've done in a long time, and it was a ton of fun. So,
hold on a
don't feel
second. Hold on a second. I saw a message from Kelly.
Oh, did we miss one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
go ahead.
said
Bring
he
it up.
asked one above.
Oh, he did? Oh, darn. Okay.
Shoot.
Well, he mentioned about the pizza. You said Kelly Productions?
Yeah, Kelly Productions said he asked one.
This one? Hey, Nick, I know you have to watch what you say because this community has been taken advantage of. But as the captain, we value your sentiment. So how confident do you feel your approach is solid?
That's a very good question. So I'll tell you, I've been talking to people who can step into leadership strategic roles. They are not going to step into leadership strategic roles if they don't believe that we have a good plan. And so far, almost all of them that I've spoken to have said yes, they want to do this. So that makes me feel good. The other thing is, I'm listening to all your sentiments, and I'm taking that into account. I feel like, as I've said before in the AMA, right? You can have a strategy that is vitamin centric or painkiller centric. This is a very painkiller centric strategy. People need what we are about to do. So I feel very confident about it. I know that having done startups multiple times, I know that no plan is perfect going out of the gate, but that's okay. You can adapt along the way as situations change, and having a plan that is also malleable like that is important, and that's what our plan is. So I feel very confident that even though we are in sort of a bear market and things are not rosy, this is the time to build. This is the time to prepare so that when the market improves, we are poised for success. So I feel confident.
Thank you. Squeeze this one in real fast. Razmataz says the incentive and rebase coin column at the end of the spreadsheet, is that what we could potentially get after every epoch, and it won't affect our coins in incentive pool?
Yeah. So if memory serves me right, I was basically adding up the base coins you were holding with the rebase plus the incentive. So I'm going to give it a guarded yes. I need to go back and look at the spreadsheet, but yes, I'm a guarded way. Yes.
Thank you, sir. That was a good question too. Thank you, Razmataz. Much appreciated. I think there's a lot of folks that had that question.
Yeah, and shout out to Biz for calling it up, because I wasn't going to bring any other questions, and I saw him type that in. I went back and found it.
Heck yeah. All right. And again, thank you, Nick. We very, very much appreciate you taking time out of your schedule.
Thank you for having me, and I would love to watch this, so I'm going to stick around.
Okay. All righty. Let's see if I can get this to work right. Hold on. Where am I at? What tab am I looking at? Okay,
you're gonna go full screen on this, right?
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear it fine. Did you want to go full screen so everybody can see it better?
If you can figure it out, go for it, because I can't remember how to do it. the biggest I can remember how to make this.
It's not on there.
Dang it. Hold on. Let me pause. Oh no, if I do it full screen there. There
you go.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So this is last Saturday. It's a little grainy from anyway. This is with my 360 camera. This is the old Geezer division, by the way. Most of the crowd is on the other, is behind the camera. There were tons of people there. It's pretty
Wow.
insane.
Fantastic.
This obstacle is kind of interesting. I'll just interject. That bar spins. It's a free bar, so you have to use reverse grip, not only when you're swinging with it, but when you take it with you and then you land. It's kind of strange.
Here, Tim, come on! Get over there! One time, 50 seconds! 45 seconds. You got it?
Good job, Tim. Good job. Good job, Tim. Good job.
20 seconds, let's go!
Good job, Tim. You got it.
So there's a total of 10 obstacles. This is number 9, and it's a 100-yard course.
Yeah! Come on! Come on, finish it, Tim! There you go! Come on, one more! You got it, you got it! Come on, Tim! Woo! Come on, you got it! Get off of there, Tim! Keep going, Tim! Come on! Get off there!
Wow. That's impressive. Amazing.
Thank you. Now, how do we get out of full screen? Oops. Chris, help me. How do I get out of here?
There you go.
There we go.
I got your back.
Yeah.
buddy.
That was
Thank
pretty
you.
impressive. Well
Oh,
done.
thanks. You know, I
How
try
long
to
did you train
represent our.
for?
What's that?
How long did you train for that?
Well,
whole
it's
life.
year round, Nick.
Oh,
The
no.
league actually. So Saturday was the end of the season 8, and season 9 started on Sunday.
Okay.
It's a year round, yeah, and that's just for one of 3 leagues that I'm in, and I have competed in another league. So the answer is I compete. It's just year round, and then I've been on the show 6 times, including this year, and that's also year round. You get one shot, and then that's the end. So it's not like Wipeout. If you remember that goofy TV show, people always say, "Oh, Ninja Warrior, what is that? Is that like Wipeout?" I'm like, "Don't insult me, man. I train 365 days a year for 1 2-minute shot at a course.
Wow.
It's a little bit different."
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun.
Okay.
It was
Thank
fun.
you so much for having me, but I gotta split.
Yeah.
but appreciate
And
it.
Next,
so much.
we're gonna have another X space Twitter space thing tonight at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I mean, if you want to stop by or anything, if you think there's any last minute things, well, we might have some questions or whatever, but I think most everybody's got their info. So, but
I
we're
like
just
to
going to
stop
be
by and
hanging
say
out.
hi if I'm available. I will always do that. So thank
Yeah,
you.
it's going to be very relaxed. People have questions. We talk about other things and everything like that, and just hang out. So
Great.
Hopefully
Will
I
do.
can join too, but I'll at least be listening.
yeah.
So
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, and
Yeah.
have a
Thank you
wonderful
very much.
Friday.
Thanks,
See you
Nick.
you
soon.
do the
Bye.
same. Thank you.
See everybody.
All right, guys. Nick Aliani. Remember to rock the vote. Rock the vote.
Yes,
If you have
rock
not
the vote.
voted yet, get your butt in gear and vote. Okay? It's a yes or no. It's black or white, 0 or a 1. Make your mind up. It better be 0. You need a yes vote for this thing to have a chance to be able to make it. We really need this blockchain to be able to launch with a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it's going to launch. If we vote no, we aren't going to have Nick with the proposal that he has, which I think is a pretty solid proposal. I can't poke any holes in it. I've tried. And it's full of compromises. Well, not full of them, but I mean, it has compromises. Some are bigger than others. But you have to ask yourself, are you willing to have a piece of what's left that can grow over time, right? That's the idea. Or do you want to just take your chances, roll the dice? I'm not into the craps table stuff, so I would rather have more of a sure thing than a very not a big, who knows, a big question mark. So that's kind of where I'm at anyway. And thank you, Biz, for putting that up there. Much appreciated.
I think with all this stuff and everything, I think that the storm has passed. The doom and gloom is going away, and I think the communities are feeling better. And I think, ultimately, with whatever happens with the blockchain and everything like that, we all want the best for it and everything like that. But I think at the end of the day, we can all be proud and thankful of what this blockchain will represent and where it's come from. So I think that's a good thing for the community and everything like that.
Absolutely. Anything that's good for the community at this point feels much better to me. And thank you to everyone in the comments. I don't show it because I think I'm all that in a bag of chips, because I know I'm not. But I'm okay. I'll tell you guys this. And I was trying not to waste Nick's time to talk about it, but I will say this. I competed in 2 of the 3 leagues that I'm in last week. And Wednesday, I arrived in Orlando Tuesday evening and then Wednesday morning, Bobby and I competed. We both did pretty bad, but I'm going to say this. The course they designed, and I'm not showing the video because everybody in the Masters division, which is 40 plus years old, and I'm 54. The Masters division, there's always some younger guys that will early 40s, and they just zip through because they're still hanging on to their 30s and they got that zip, and I'm so jealous, right? And they just zip through courses. The young 40s guys usually destroy whatever's put out there at the World Championships. This is like my 6th year in a row to go to the Worlds. This year, not only did nobody finish, and those young guys, none of them either, they only got about 75% of the top, the possible points. That's never happened. They made the course too damn hard. It was that freaking hard. So out of, I think it was 16 possible points, I only got 6. Bobby got 8. And the guy who got the most points got 12. And so it boiled down to a couple of people, got that many out of, I think it was 122 of us. I got 75th. And there were a number of people that got 0 points or 1. So I kind of felt good that at least I didn't scratch. But dude, it was brutal. The qualifying course was super hard, and the finals course for those that made it was the easy course. Everybody finished it. It's like, dude, did you forget what you were doing? So and then I had a couple days go by, and then the run that I did there, that was a fun course though. It was a more speed centric course, and I missed. So just so that you know, I did hit the buzzer as you saw, but I missed qualifying for the semifinals by 2 seconds. If I hadn't taken that last rest break and going, oh, I'm old. I from what we saw, I should have made it to the semis. So In the semifinals, I don't know if you guys saw at the beginning of the course, but it was a side-by-side course. And originally we were going to run head-to-head, 2 people at a time. And they were just cranking us through there. But then they changed it before we started, and they were starting us 30 seconds apart. The guy who was going after me, by the time I hit the buzzer, he still had a minute. He had barely a minute left, so he was nowhere to be found. So I feel good about that. Yeah, did pretty good. So anyway, guys, thanks for your comments. I always appreciate that. I don't think we didn't bring up this one. I like this comment by Hamster Nuts. This is how one man can bring back, speaking of Nick, of course, can bring back a community on the brink of disaster, at each other's throats, blaming others. Thanks, Chris and Odie, for a good AMA. Hey, thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. It's always appreciated. And I'm sorry that I've been a little hit and miss lately. I've been trying to, I got on what? I got on Monday with you and the guy. I think it was Monday. Yeah. And so the rest of this week's kind of just been gone. And then last week, of course, I was out of town, as you knew. So hoping to be back. I should be back next Tuesday in my regularly scheduled time. Are there any other questions that anybody else has, or any other comments about what do you guys think about the vote? I mean, I know we don't get a running tally, and I kind of think that's a good thing. I think that people should vote what they're thinking and not go based on how the vote is currently trending. I think that's a good thing. Good way to put it, I guess. I'm excited to find out when I wake up. I'm not going to wake up early because it won't change anything. But I'll be excited to find out tomorrow when I wake up, and hopefully it's, I hope it's a yes. Yes to me means we're voting yes for a chance at making this what it should be. It'll take longer, but oh, and I wanted to also point out, if anybody else was thinking maybe the same thing, I like how Nick was addressing the full node holders, the validators. You got to get used to saying validators. The concerns that the validator community within Vulcan is, the sentiments, the challenges that Nick is working through to get the most equity without, he's trying to keep that balance, right? There's only so much money, trying to make sure that the validators are able to make a profit, because running a full node at a loss, nobody's going to want to do that. And Nick addressed that, I think, quite well. And so I like that he's looking at everything everybody's saying. And so I really appreciate how open he is, how transparent he is, and how he doesn't run away from a good question. But try to make sure that when we're asking him questions, that it's definitely let's keep up the good questions. Am I missing?
Yeah, that's my only concern, and I don't think I'm really concerned about it, but I just want us to make sure, and that's why we're going to do another X Space tonight. I just want to make sure that when the vote comes, everybody had an opportunity to either ask a question, get the answer, or find the answer some way, and that's it. So the vote, if we can make sure that happens, the vote will be heavily represented by what the community wants. And if it's a landslide for Nick or not, whatever, but at least it'll be represented by what the people, getting involved, asking questions, knowing what's going on and everything like that, and being informed. So, and rocking the vote. So
that's right. Yeah. I can't help it, man. We're the MTV generation. You remember that with the VJs and Rock the Vote and all that?
I didn't even know what voting was until MTV started talking about it. And I was like, Rock the Vote? What is that, a band? Is that a new band?
Back when MTV was music television.
Oh, it was great. I like those VJs though. When they come on and have
the original crew, shows. Right?
Yeah, like the original.
JJ Jackson, Nina Blackwood. All those guys, they were just the original crew. I really liked them. You could tell
they added a few too, like Kennedy and stuff like that later on.
Yeah.
It was good. So
and shoot, Kennedy's still on. She's on, what is it, MSN? I think I can't remember which platform she's on. Is it Fox News or I see her from time to time.
Oh, she's got her own show on. I think Fox Business, is it?
Okay, that's what it is. Because I've seen her in my YouTube feed come up a few times. I'm like, Kennedy? when was the last time I saw her?
Kind of
But I
weird
guess
going
she's
from the
never gone away.
music part to news, but hey, she makes it
Yeah.
work, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And then who was it? Kurt Loder with the MTV News. I used to like him. I
Oh
thought
yeah,
that was
Dude,
cool.
this is one that I think we this comment just came up, and I know you're probably ready to
Go
wrap
ahead.
it up, but
No, go ahead.
this is very true. What Daryl's saying is that's the problem that we're all recovering from, was that you
Yep.
can't, and the other night when Bob came on and Nick and him were talking, and Bob started off because he felt aggressive, because of the fact that so much stuff going around, and then Nick talked to him, and then he seemed to be totally on the same page. And well, I mean, he has differences, but it seemed like he was willing to have a decent conversation, respectful back and forth. But yeah, what Daryl's saying is we couldn't have done that in the past, but
you're right. Yeah, no, I appreciate that that statement, Daryl, for the same reasons Chris is saying it. Yeah, everything was labeled as fun, and well, I don't know. Yeah,
well, you can't blame. That's the whole point. Is you really can't blame the community. You can't blame the YouTubers. You can't blame anybody in particular, because the whole system was set up for that. So you had the guy at the top basically saying anything that anybody disagrees with is FUD, and then people would be like, "Well, let me see," and then they started getting to the point where it was like, it was just coming from the top. Now you have someone that's like, "Hey, I'm willing to listen as long as you're respectful," and even the community's acting like that. I see it in Discord. Someone will be like saying something mean, and someone will be like, "Listen, I'll listen to you if you're respectful." And, so much gets done.
Yeah, if you could just be respectful, that's and you can't say you're an a-hole. Just my opinion.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're a bunch of a-holes, and you're like, okay, so I'm really not going to listen to you anymore.
There's a line. I mean, if that's not, I had just a question, you jerk off. I mean, come on. There's got to be civil, but there's nothing wrong with. Yeah, I totally agree, Chris. Yeah, if you could be civil about it, ask your questions.
You might want to look at the last comment, by the way.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. From the lovely Mrs. Odie. Hey, Odie, we are wearing the same shirts. Yeah, Mrs. Odie was made in 1968, and she's given me crap about it for almost 33 years. Love you, honey.
Well, I mean, those people are just jealous of the 69.
I know, right? Yeah, actually, you know what? I was the one that was jealous because I bought her that made in 1968 shirt, and I think hers actually says all original parts, but mine says mostly.
Mostly.
I have one or two parts that I wasn't born with, pins and stuff. But and then I got jealous, and so I had to buy the one for me. So yeah. I can't believe she's actually able to watch me. She's so busy at work. So she's generally busier than I am, which is why most of the time I used to be on the lives all the time. But we've had so many new employees that I've been kind of busy. And so, haven't been able to join the lives like I usually do. But hopefully that's going to start subsiding because I've missed being on the lives with you guys a lot. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're trying to move a little bit to the X spaces where you just don't have to be on camera or anything like that, and you can like listen in your car, or you can listen, and it's really, you can get on your phone, so hopefully that makes it easier for a lot of people to be able to hear questions and knowledge and stuff. And plus, a lot of times we've been serious the last couple of ones because Nick coming and wanting to make sure questions got in. But sometimes we're just goofing off. So, I mean, it's just having a good time.
Yeah. Well, having a good time, I think we can all use a little bit of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's still summertime, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, enjoying that. I'm enjoying a Washington summer, a Western, I should say Western, because my side of the state is nothing like Eastern Washington. It is nothing like it. Those of you that don't know anything about Washington, look at Google Maps satellite view or your favorite map service. They're nothing alike. We have all the green, and because we get all the rain, but most of the rain never makes it over the Cascade Mountains to the east. and most of eastern Washington is just desert. It's no different than Nevada, Arizona. It's just desert and tumbleweeds, and it's hot. This time of the year, it's in triple digits. The difference between other deserts is it's in the sub-freezing, or it's in the below freezing, and sometimes even below zero at times throughout the winter. But they get 330 odd days a year of sun on that side of the state. Nothing like it. However, this year we're getting some good sun, hardly any rain, and we have not dealt with any of the smoke from the forest fires, either from our own state, which has been amazing, or from British Columbia, like the ones that were happening over the Great Lakes. I don't know how bad that still is, but I know that Greek and folks in the Midwest have been having some serious, recently, at least a couple of weeks ago, a lot of smoke from the forest fires. Last couple summers here, it was the same thing. We got like 3 weeks of sunshine, and literally the next 2+ months, it was just smoke and from the forest fires. And you could see on your front lawn, the not the embers, but the ashes just dropping from the sky. It was almost like it was snowing. It was terrible. So,
yeah, tough time out there.
Oh, Bruce Lee. Can't believe you're a 53-year-old ninja. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Mrs. Odie just corrected you. She'd say 55 too if it was true. So, yeah, I think we'll cap it right around here. This is good. I didn't play my 5-minute countdown because I still need to fix it. There's some things that need to be deleted from it. I haven't had the time.
The other guy,
Voldemort. Oh, yeah. So I want to thank everyone that was willing to tune in and spend some time with Chris and I and our very special guest, Nick Caliani. If you're just tuning in or you came in midway through the stream, do yourself a favor. Go back to the beginning, because Nick was here right from the jump for the first hour and a couple of minutes. Very gracious with this time. And I know he said, I think I said at the beginning, we appreciate you taking your time out of your day. I said it a couple of times, actually. And he said that, this isn't taking time out of my day because I'm here for you guys, which is absolutely true. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, we are very fortunate to have somebody with his very, very rock solid reputation. I think that goes without saying. I mean, he's amazing. I don't know how dude, I'll stick with Ninja. What he does, that's some serious talent. Being able to balance all these spinning plates and he's able to take on all these tasks. I mean, I know he has a team that backs him up, but it's a leader that leads a team. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Chris. Hopefully I'll be able to join you later this evening for your Twitter Spaces. And what was the Eastern time? What time is it?
It'll be 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. And is Pride still doing his Friday lives? Is
No,
that correct?
he's not able to. He's got to work. He will make the Sunday night live, but he's got his schedule changed and he has to work. He's actually he'll be going into work real soon, and he'll miss it. So.
Did he go back to so I know he switched from Graveyard.
He was on days for quite a while. It seemed to work out well, but his schedule, I don't know if this is a permanent change or just a temporary change, but he will not be able to do his Friday night live on YouTube. So some of us got together and we're like, okay, we'll just do an X space Twitter thing at 7:30. It won't be YouTube, but I think a lot of people will feel comfortable with that. And then one thing that I did find out last night, thanks to Ashley and Fowler, is that you can put comments in there. I just thought it was like you had to talk, but you go to it's a little bubble down below at the bottom right, and you just click on it. It's like you're replying to a post, but it actually we can read it, and we talked about quite a few of them. So, and you don't see our faces, but individuals can actually come up and we open their mic and everything, and they can say what their question is or their comment or whatever. So that's a lot of fun, because YouTube would be like, okay, we got to send you the link, and that you got to go, then they got to show their face, or they got to get it set up to not show their face and all that. And then so it's real easy and convenient, I think, for people, and you can listen to it like a podcast or something.
That's cool. I will say, I will admit, I suck at Twitter, and now with the well, formerly Twitter Spaces, but now X Space,
Yeah.
I will have to play around with getting used to that.
Well,
It
yeah,
sounds
you're going to
pretty cool.
have to because me, I'm
Yeah.
horrible at it. And when I'm doing it, I'm hosting it, and I'm like, hey, I'm messing up. Last night I missed when we were done. I think when it was over. I think I missed like 4 questions. I was like, oh my god.
Oh no.
And I'm scrolling through there looking for questions
Yeah.
and didn't find them, and then I got distracted. And then when Nick got off and everything, we are talking about a few things, and I'm looking through there. I'm like, they're right here. I just went right past them. I'm like, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm not that good at it either. But we'll see.
Oh, here, I'll bring this up. I like this. G says the node holders need to be satisfied because, as Nick said, it's the end user that is most important aspect of this gas price. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Because it's all about the end users. We have no end users. We got no blockchain, yo.
Oh, and Teddy One did bring this up the other day, and I have to,
Oh, yeah?
or no, OBZ said OBZ
okay.
has it in there. He did bring that up. It's a lot better because we don't have to see your ugly mugs.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
Here you go. There. How's that? Is that better?
That's what we need to do from now on.
Yeah. we could do like the crypto lead did until we basically pressured him into coming on, right? And then eventually with Fowler and everybody else.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fun, but maybe everybody, when we did that, everybody was like, "Whew, finally, my eyes can take a rest." I'm sorry, guys. Maybe
all right.
I have
Here's
a face
the link.
for radio.
if you lose it, make sure you come back here and look in the comments, and you can pull it up here. But that's the link. Thank you so much, Biz, as always, for supporting us as you do, and for contacting Nick and getting him scheduling for this live. Much appreciate all of your efforts. So thanks everybody for being here. Much appreciated. Be thankful for the opportunities you come across in life. Love hard on your family, and always remember, chance favors the prepared mind. I think we're still live. It didn't kill it. Yes, I messed up. I'm back. I'm back.